Hello everyone, a warm welcome to join the C-Suite Talks, innovative leadership journey today. This is Vijay, I'm your host. Today we are joined by Mr. Jaideep Kewalramani, Head of Employability Business and Chief Operating Officer at TeamLease Edtech. Our guest has a wealth of experience in employability business and operations. We are excited to learn from him. Today's theme is empowering the workforce of tomorrow. Let's start the discussion. Hello, Jaideep sir. Welcome to our podcast. Thank you for accepting our invite.
Vijay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome, sir. Let's start our discussion. Could you please share a bit about your career journey and how you got started in the field of employability and education?
Right, Vijay. It's been a little over 25 years in the industry now. Started my journey with an Edtech venture, which was housed under Aptech Hexaware brand. After a few years, I moved into outsourcing for a little bit, into legal tech as well. After that, I did my another stint with Edtech when I was with an angel fund. We incubated an Edtech business. We created a path-picking product over there that helped people map their career journeys and figure out what is the delta quotient that they need to achieve for career progression. We built some AI algorithms. Subsequently, this is my third EdTech venture. Pretty delighted to be with a part of the TeamLease group and the TeamLease EdTech business, developing the employability vertical. Across the course of my journey, I've also had the opportunity to keep going back to my academics. So I graduated in education. I also felt the need to pursue my master's in international marketing a few years into the work. Subsequently, while I was in the US, I took the opportunity to go to the Stanford campus to pursue my executive program in strategic decision making and portfolio management. Repatriated to India in 2012, so it's been about 11 years since I came back, and it's been a very interesting journey.
Great, sir. Thank you for the brief. So I have another question, which is, in today's rapidly challenging job market, because we all are trying for the good job, great jobs, they're trying for the better one, right? So what do you see as the most critical skills that job seekers need to possess to remain in the competitive age?
That's a great question, Vijay, and we come across a variety of professionals, right from freshers to tenured, who keep coming across this requirement of having the right skills to either start the career or progress their careers. It's actually a mix of a few things. One is, in addition to the technical and the functional skills you need to be successful at the job, you need most importantly to progress in your career is a bunch of soft skills, which is a mix of interpersonal communication, management skills. And now in this age of digital and technology, you also need to know how technology can help you perform your job better. With generative AI making AI more accessible to pretty much every professional, not just limited to technologists, one needs to understand the power of human AI collaboration. Equipping yourself with skills where you can deploy generative AI to make your work successful, your team successful, and likewise your organization to be successful is going to be very, very, very critical in the days to come. I would say it's a mix of functional skills, soft skills, and technical skills that you can bring to the table.
Okay, you mean to say the candidate needs to keep on persuading, learning, upskilling all this area?
Absolutely, Vijay. I mean, the skilling journey never stops. I mean, when you graduate and enter the workforce, you possess a set of skills. But as you acquire experience, you also develop additional skill sets. Organizations want to see how you're acquiring new skills. If you look at all successful careers, they are built upon three things. One, the ability to learn. Second, the ability to go beyond. And third, the passion that you bring to the table. If you have these three things in your equation, your career journey will be most successful.
The message is very clear. Ability to learn, ability to go beyond, passion to bring them on table. Well, thank you for that insights. Next question is, as TeamLease Edtech focuses on bridging the employability gap, could you share some strategies and initiatives that your organization has undertaken to enhance employability of individuals?
That's a question that could take a fairly long amount of time to respond to because we are doing some amazing work. But since this is a podcast, let me keep this efficient for your audience. Working with the entire ecosystem of universities, enterprises, students, and the government to raise the employability quotient in this country. Our mission is making India employable. On one hand, we work with universities to help them go online. We are a technology service partner to a lot of leading universities. We help them with the technology stack, the content stack, and the social media marketing stack. Work with enterprises to help them build the talent supply chain of the future, either by skilling the incoming talent or reskilling the existing talent into newer skill sets or technologies that they may require. We also work with the student community to raise the awareness of what we call as a path-breaking initiative, is the work integrated degree programs. Under these programs, a student gets the opportunity to acquire their degree from a leading university using the online or the distance learning mechanism. We are pursuing this. We also ensure that they get an opportunity to work with a leading company, whether MNC or a national brand or a leading regional brand, where they can acquire real-world skills. And at the end of 3 years, if they're pursuing undergraduate, or at the end of 2 years, if they're pursuing a postgraduate, they not only just have a degree, but they also have real-world work experience. And because this is a work-integrated degree program, they get the opportunity to exchange credits for the work experience that they have learned in lieu of the university credit system. And thanks to the framework laid down by UGC, this is going to be even more prevalent in the days to come. We also work with a lot of government agencies to spread the word and amplify the good work that they are doing. And when we have built this entire ecosystem, we are seeing the results come out very, very richly. A lot of young kids who would have either dropped out of the academic system or would have had to settle for a not so great learning experience because they have mobility, social mobility issues, now can acquire the best of education using the online and the distance learning method. And through the work integrated opportunities with enterprises, in addition to acquiring work experience, they also get stipend support where they can fund their own education or supplement their family income. We are very delighted that we are working with all the stakeholders in the ecosystem, and we have the opportunity to raise the employability quotient of this country in our mission of making India employable.
Thank you for that great strategy. We are focusing on the technology, and in other words, I would say technology has transformed the way we learn and work, right? So, how do you see this technology shaping the future of education and employability?
So let's look at technology in two ways. One is the core technology that allow digitalization. Second, the technology that one can use in the journey of acquiring or dispensing education. Let's touch upon the first part. Digitization and digitalization are two different things. The audience needs to understand that if I convert paper into a soft copy, that's digitization. But digitalization is when I convert the entire journey into digital. That's the digital experience that I'm talking about. When education goes online or goes distance, it's not just scanning a few pages of a book and uploading it on a learning management system, but it is actually creating a holistic learning environment of video material, study learning material, web resources, assessments, and quizzes, all as per the four quadrant approach of UGC. That's the biggest pivotal moment as we are seeing when education is transforming itself using technology. But that's just the underlying technology, like I said. Let's look at the other aspect of technology on how do we use it when we dispense or we acquire education. For educators, it is very important that they immerse themselves into the technology tools that are available, right from a learning management system to assessment systems, proctoring engines, and how they can make the journey of the learner even more exciting. There are virtual labs available. You don't need to visit physical labs anymore or have restriction on the number of resources you can use in the lab. I mean, with digital labs, you can use abundant amount of scenarios and simulations to go through the experiments over and over again. That's the way you kind of create immersive learning environments. As technology becomes more available and cheaper, we are looking at metaverse entering the education world where learners can immerse themselves in a virtual world and actually see how things operate on the field. So, for example, if you are talking about teaching something about scientific components to be used in an industrial lab, you can create an environment in metaverse where you transpose the person onto a shop floor where a certain equipment is being deployed or being used. In case of other experiences, like someone is learning about the retail vertical, you can transpose the students into a high-end retail environment to learn about how to interact with shoppers and look at the shop floor layouts. We don't need to organize field visits anymore, and that makes everything more accessible and immersible. These are some ideas in the way you dispense education. Educators also need to embrace generative AI, like I said before, because that will allow you to raise the quotient of learning in the classroom. We've come across a lot of educators who believe that generative AI should be completely kept outside of the education system. But we believe that while the learners are embracing generative AI to accomplish their learning tasks, educators too should embrace that. And again, these views are very personal. The verdict is still out there. One can determine how the regulators and the other bodies will determine the use of generative AI in education. Personally, I believe that educators should use the power of generative AI to create a better learning environment. I mean, they can use generative AI to produce case studies, create scenarios, and also enable the learners to use generative AI to respond to those. The focus in the classroom would be on the experience of using generative AI and the outcome it has produced. So you're raising the level of learning in the classroom rather than going through the process of regurgitating or repeating some answers. There is value in research and all of that. I'm not saying that has to be discarded completely, but certain tasks of the entire teaching and the learning process can be accomplished using generative AI, and the focus in the classroom can be on the learning. Let's look at on the learner side of using technology. Today, technology is allowing learners to learn anytime, anywhere, in how much of time that they want to. Gone are the days where you need to sit through 90 minutes or 120 minutes of a classroom. You can pick up your learning anytime, anywhere, and learn as much as you want. An opportunity of using bite-sized learning or learning nuggets. Assess yourself on your learning abilities and the learning that you've acquired every milestone, so you know whether you're progressing well or not. All the tests are progressive in nature. If you know certain basic concepts, the AI algorithm in these tests will quickly jump you to the next level, assuming that you know the first one and the first set of answers that you responded are right. And will keep raising the level till you kind of hit a barrier where you now know that you need to learn more about that subject. So the learning environment has also kind of become very rich. Of course, generative AI is the most controversial subject, whether learners should use it or not. My personal advice to learners would be use it as a starter, but not as an endpoint. You need to show the value that you're going to add on top of that. More importantly, exhibit full disclosure as a part of your project submission or learning submissions. You must talk about how you've used generative AI to produce the initial set of results and then how you added value on top of that. That would be much appreciated by the educators and acceptable by the institutions. So, all in all, it's a very exciting time for the entire education ecosystem where technology is bringing a shift in the way we teach and learn. India as an economy is going to march from being developing to developed during the digital era. And if we do not use the power of digital and AI during this period, we would be creating a huge disadvantage. So the entire education economy, the education system needs to embrace digital and AI to create a leap in the way we are teaching and learning.
Thank you for that insight, sir. I have another question. I understand there are a lot of technologies and platforms available in today's world, right? What are innovative technologies or platforms that TeamLease Edtech is utilizing to provide training and education solutions to the field?
So, like I said, we are using the power of technology to improve the entire education ecosystem, skill development, the learning experience, and all. Some of the innovation that we brought to the table is use of AI in the entire ecosystem. For educators and learners, generative AI is being made available. There are AI-driven proctoring engines which can sense whether the examinations are being conducted with full integrity. Also, there is a progressive assessment engine. We spoke about that earlier in the podcast on how, if your certain concepts are in place, the assessment engine will quickly progress you to the next level. We are also in the journey of creating employability. We've created AI tools to create a match between the university, the workplace, and the kind of degree that a student wants to pursue. This is available on a portal called gvarsity.com. We've also invested in AI tools that help freshers build their first set of profiles. In addition, we have partnered with leading scientists to create the first set of aptitude tests that are purely image driven. And these tests allow a candidate to assess which industry, what kind of a job profile they are most suited at. Also working on something in the labs which will allow candidates to create their first video CV and also get themselves assessed on the English speaking quotient or the language quotient in whichever language they want to create their CV. This will give them a repertoire of files, assessments, tests, and exhibit their skills to their employers. The digital technology, we have enabled a suite of 10 different technologies that can be used by the university ecosystem and also the enterprise ecosystem. This includes, of course, the cutting edge learning management system, assessment engines, proctoring systems. For the university, we have the university management system. And for the enterprise, we have an enterprise portal where the leadership can see how their organization is learning. There are a whole bunch of other things in our R&D labs right now, and we will be looking at beta testing them later this year or earlier next year.
Great. You said video CV, image-driven aptitude tests, which are new to me. Looking forward to see that kind of innovations from your end. Thank you for that insight, sir. Another question I have, which is, the workforce of tomorrow, which is our theme today, will face lots of challenges as they grow, right? We can't fully predict them today. So how can individuals and educational institutions prepare for this kind of uncertainties?
That's an excellent question, Vijay. I mean, we've been seeing the VUCA world for the last few years now. And since 2008, it has only hyper accelerated with a lot of things shaping the way the economy or the environment is changing. Like I said earlier, the person's learning ability is going to be a key part of their quotient, and agility is a part of that component. I mean, you have to know, you have to sense what's happening and be agile enough to quickly adapt yourself. From a educator and a university aspect, the more bridges and the hooks that they create with the industry, it'll be better. It's not just creating a work integrated degree program or internship. You need to cross pollinate with industry experts who visit the campus, visit for online lectures, who engage with the students. And also, the university needs to adapt its curriculum to what does the industry need today. And while certain fundamentals and theories are very important and they must be retained as a part of the curriculum system, a certain percentage should be dedicated towards what's required by the industry out of the gates. From the industry perspective, they need to start building the talent supply chain of the future. You no longer should wait for a graduate to walk out of the gate and then look at them, okay, whether the person is employable or not. And if they are employable, do they have the right set of skills? You need to invest in their skill sets and training. You need to start integrating yourself into the undergraduate mechanisms right now. Embrace the work integrated degree programs because that's a way you build your talent supply chain of the future. While the candidate is pursuing their undergrad program, they work with you as an intern, apprentice, or as a full-time person. And they acquire the skills that are required to be successful at the workplace. And as they go through the academic journey and your experience, they're ready to be fully onboarded once they graduate.
A great insight, sir. So you mentioned about learning ability, be agile, integrate and embrace the knowledge which is required for all the workplace. These are very good insights. Teamless. I see TeamLease Edtech has a unique perspective on evolving job landscape. Right? What trends you see in the job market over next 3 to 5 years, and how can individuals adapt to these challenges?
Vijay, to all your readers, we invite them to visit our site and download the Career Outlook report. We produce this incisive report once every 6 months, which covers a survey of a lot of industries, a lot of employers, and gives insight on which industry is hiring, what kind of profiles, what kind of experience levels. And that's going to be very, very important for all your listeners to understand where we are headed. Over the next 3 to 5 years, or even beyond that, barring a few headwinds that might occur, because some industries are seasonal, some are subject to global headwinds, and so on. We are seeing a very, very positive picture. Like, for example, the IT industry is going through a little bit of a headwind right now, but we all know that's not going to last for too long. Certain sectors that are going to continue to grow are the retail sector, hospitality, BFSI, FMCG, FMCD. They're all going to grow exponentially. The technology associated with all of that, the e-commerce verticals, the user experience are all going to grow. We're seeing a very positive trend. More importantly, people need to have the right skill sets to be a part of these industries. There are some sunrise industries as well, like drone technologies, EVs, and also in the semiconductor industry, there is going to be a lot of demand for talent and professionals to join these emerging sunrise sectors. The Career Outlook report, we may have quarterly updates as well, but the two large editions that come out are twice a year.
Great. I think definitely this is going to help the audience as well as who follow this podcast to see the report, and definitely this is going to help them to prepare for their desired industry domain where they want to pursue it. Thank you for the insights. I have another question for job seekers and educators listening to this podcast, right? So, what advice would you give them to stay relevant and succeed in their careers and educational pursuits?
The advice is simple, and I think we've covered a lot of it during the podcast. One is maintain your learning quotient, keep acquiring new skills, work with your organization to understand what skill sets do they need for the next 1 to 3 years, and invest in yourself to acquire that. We also encourage a lot of talent to keep going back to the higher education system. If you're a graduate, pursue your postgraduate. If you're a postgraduate, please pursue your doctoral programs or post PG programs as well. If you can't necessarily pursue your master's or your doctoral programs, there are a lot of executive programs available, certificate programs available. One must pursue those. The academic institutions bring in a lot of great value while you're at the workplace to reinforce your thinking, give you the right kind of frameworks and the structures that are available in the industry. So for the learner, the job seeker, and the person who's already in the job, you need to, as a part of your equation, you need to have your own learning quotient. You need to work with your organization to identify the skills of the future, invest in those, and also engage with higher academic institutions to acquire higher education degrees and certificate programs.
Great, sir. Thank you for that invite, sir. So I understand that we need to maintain our learning quotient, abilities, and we need to work with our organization to what skills they are looking for next 3 to 5 years, so that we can invest ourselves into that learning path. So always learning is very important for any individuals to shine in their career. Thank you for that insights. So this is going to be the last question of this event. As a leader in employability and the education field, what inspires and motivates you to continue working in this field?
Answer is very simple, Vijay. The way we are able to influence and shape future careers and lives in a way is what gives all of us the motivation to continue working in this field. I mean, we've seen a lot of our initiatives create a positive impact on the average household income. When we work through skilling and upskilling of people, we have seen household incomes double. And that could be the definitive moment where they break the socioeconomic barrier. We've also seen where there could have been people who would have been potential dropouts now continue with the academic journey because of the ability to pursue work integrated degree programs and how they have taken charge of their careers. We've also seen a lot of people who have gone through upskilling opportunities and grow up in their careers. I mean, it's very, very gratifying and fulfilling to see how people are shaping their futures and lives. And that is what keeps us motivated every day. A lot of these success stories have been curated and compiled in a book that we recently released called Making India Employable. Take a look at the book, a copy of that. There are 20 stories that give a learner an insight on how different people have shaped their careers. These are all based on true stories. That should give a lot of our youth the inspiration to maintain their employability journey.
Thank you for that insights. I see being influencer is very important. That motivates you. I wish you great success for that. With that note, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you so much, Jaideep sir, for accepting the invite, joining us and sharing your insight and knowledge and advices. It was a great learning session for me and to our audience as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Vijay, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.